Okay, so my name is Luke Kurowski, and I'll be your professor for the course. This course is fully online, but I decided to also host office hours on a weekly basis to help you get through the course. And basically the time on Tuesdays between 5 to 7 is time for you to ask any questions related to content, assignments, and group work, or basically any clarifications you would have. But these are not mandatory meetings, and all the content of the course is set up online. So for example, when I'll share my screen with you. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. So if you can make this time between 5 and 7, that's great. You can ask any questions, anything about course related, but it's not, like I said, it's not mandatory. But it could be quite helpful to you, even for a couple of questions or clarifications. So again, the name of the course is Ethics, Society, Technology, and Environment. So we will look at specific issues in society, technology, and environment from an ethical perspective. That's basically how the course is set up. And here I've posted for you the links for our meetings, the link for our meetings on a weekly basis. So of course you know that, because otherwise you wouldn't be here. Now, when you go to content, you will see basically all the content for the course, including course outline, etc. So I suggest you start here, course orientation. And you have a few items here that I recommend you go over. Welcome to the course, meet your professor, course outline. This is quite important. Okay, you have the course outline here. You have basically the weekly breakdown for topics and what is due each week. So today we will do a short introduction. Second week, you get into studying ethical theories such as consequentialism or utilitarianism, deontology, virtue ethics, and application of ethical frameworks. Now, quiz 1, it's called online quiz, and that is due, it's not due next week, but the week after. I'm giving you a little bit more time. I'm basically showing you what is due in the next 4 weeks or so, which assignments are due or which evaluations are due. And then we have assignment number 1, and I will explain that in more detail today. So these are basically the first 2 evaluations that you have to worry about. Online quiz, which is a 30-minute quiz based on the first 2 weeks, of class. So basically ethical theories and analyses and concepts that are related. And then assignment number 1 is going to be basically an analysis of an ethical dilemma. And you will use the knowledge of ethics to solve an ethical dilemma. And like I said, I will speak to this more in the next few minutes. And after we finish with ethical theory, we will get into thinking about technology. So we will cover an article by Neil Postman called 5 Things to Know About Technological Change. And later on, you will do a presentation on this topic. As you can see here, we have you have a video group presentation for Neil Postman, and you will get into groups of 5 to do so. 5 or 4, depending, but ideally 5, because the article is divided into 5 sections. But again, I will post more instructions for you in reference to this assignment. So online quiz, the online quiz is individual work. Assignment number 1 is, excuse me. Assignment number 1 is individual work. There are also discussion boards, 5% each. That is individual work, but you also get a chance to respond to other people. And I will show you where that is. So we have artificial intelligence discussion boards and GMOs, genetically modified organisms discussion board. But in between, you have the new Postman presentation, and this will require more work and more organization on your part. Again, I will send you a video explaining how to do the assignment. There are also specific instructions for you how to create a video presentation with your classmates. So we will tackle topics such as media. What is the relationship between media and ethics? Robotics, artificial intelligence, again, new Postman assignment, how to think about technology in general, stem cell research, cloning, genetically modified organisms, environmental pollution, climate change, and alternatives to fossil fuel energy. And this is, this problem is quite pressing because we are basically in the middle of it. And it's related to alternative green technologies and climate change in general. So that's basically how the course is set up. Again, at the beginning we study ethics so that you have the knowledge to analyze specific technologies from an ethical perspective. And from an ethical perspective here means what are the advantages and disadvantages of specific technologies? And all technologies provide with advantages and disadvantages. And remember, technology does not really think for us. Technology may be thinking, that is, it may be designed to run on specific algorithms, but it is not responsible for, perhaps it should be. That's an ethical question in itself, or a philosophical question, that is. But technology can also create many problems in our lives. So we have to, as human beings, we have to have a critical perspective. We have to learn how to critically analyze technology. We have to have develop a perspective, a critical perspective on how technology affects us on a daily basis. Whether it's the cell phone, whether it's a car or a plane, whether it's anything medical field related, whether it's anything related to the environment, whatever it may be. Technology always has advantages and disadvantages as it is related to us and as we relate to it, okay? So that is something that we can't get away from, and therefore we have to deal with it, or we have to learn how to deal with it better. So that is part of the learning outcome of this course, for you to teach you something about ethics, how to think critically about ethics, but mostly how to apply ethics and critical thinking to specific technologies or technologies that have become popular or very important in our lives today or in the near future. Okay, so that's a bit about the course outline and what the course is about. I think the course will be quite beneficial to you, either personally or professionally in the future, and also as a way of teaching you how to think critically about specific topics. So that is something that will become useful to you regardless what you do in life, whatever it may be, whichever way you move personally and professionally in your life. Okay, so do you have any questions at the moment? So far, so good. Okay, thank you. I'm suffering from allergies, so that's why I'm sneezing from time to time. And it's allergy season in Canada, specifically in Toronto. Okay, so if you go back to content or course orientation, there are other items that are of use to you. How to navigate through eCentennial, facts, questions, and answers to most popular questions regarding studying online and using eCentennial. So this is where basically the course outline is, and the topical outline for the course. And so week 1 is basically this week. And the way this is set up is it's set up in modules. So you have introduction to ethics, and it is your responsibility to go over this information, okay? And that's a short one and basic concepts. I'm just basically briefly showing you where this is. So it is your responsibility to cover, read, and watch this, all of this information, okay? And this will help you prepare for on the online quiz, and also doing assignment number 1, and also the final test. Okay, so in your time, whenever, you are responsible for covering all of this information, one module at a time. And for each week, you have a self-check quiz, and self-check quiz is composed of questions that test you on the information that you have studied earlier. So I highly recommend that you do this on a weekly basis, so that you check your knowledge, check your progression. Additional readings that are related to the modules here are found here. And here I put some examples of ethical dilemmas, but I'll talk about that in a second when I talk about assignment number 1. And weekly discussion. You can use weekly discussion to ask any questions in regards to the content earlier, okay, or the readings. And you can ask questions, but you can ask questions of your classmates. You can ask questions directly to me. So I can either respond to your question or your comment, or other classmates can. Okay, so this is basically interactive for all of us. And logically, so on and so forth. So we have week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and so on and so forth. Okay. Assessments are here. Under assignments, maybe this looks different from your end, but the big group assignments are assignment number 1 is individual, but it's also interactive. I'll show you how it works in a second. Postman presentation and assignment number 2, that's at the end of the course. I will post due dates here. So the big assignment that's coming up, more substantial assignment that's coming up, is assignment number 1, apart from the online quiz, and that's due September 27th. I think September 27th is, let me just check a second. Is it, actually, I'll make it the Friday, because that will give you more time to respond to each other. Okay, and you go back. Now, the online quiz you will find under quizzes, and the final test for the course is also going to be found under quizzes. So the online quiz is here, and I've set up a due date for it, and the final test here, I will change the date. Don't worry about it when the time comes. So, and this is basically composed of multiple choice questions based on ethical theories. And then instructions for other assignments. Assignment number 1, I'm just going to hide this because it's a different version of something that I created for you. You can do interactively with other students, and I will show you that in a second. But instructions for the Postman presentations are here. Steps for video presentations are here. Assignment number 2 that comes up at the end of the course, towards the end of the semester, that is. artificial intelligence discussion, GMO discussion, APA format for writing up your, for writing up assignment number 2 are here. Okay, so basically everything is here. You just need to take the time to familiarize yourself with the course online and follow logically each week. Make sure you do your work diligently and on time. Make sure you read and watch everything as you are instructed, because your success in the course really depends on how diligently you cover everything. Now, assignment number 1, I've set it up under discussions, okay? So if you go to discussions under communication, you will see the artificial intelligence discussion. I will set up a due date for that. I will remind you. Don't worry about that now. GMO discussion, that will come a little bit later. Don't worry about that now. Here are some examples of ethical dilemmas, just some examples. But assignment number 1 is basically here. And I've created a topic here that you will use to basically start your analyses. So this is basically what you will have to do. So assignment number 1 is composed of 3 sections. Okay, so section number 1, you are required to come up with an ethical dilemma. Okay, so an ethical dilemma can be basically anything. I give you here a couple of examples, but it can be anything that's personal. It can be anything that's happening around the world internationally. It can be anything that's happening around the world. Sorry, that's happening in Canada, or the country that you're from. Something that's local, or something that is national or international. It can be really anything, as long as it is set up like a moral dilemma. So a moral dilemma is basically where you have 2 options and you're struggling to figure out which option to choose or which action to choose. So here, first of all, you, in the paragraph, describe an ethical dilemma. Be clear and informative. So clearly describe what is happening. Remember, an ethical dilemma is a situation in which you have at least 2 different ethical options for an action, and each option has advantages and disadvantages. So here I give you some examples. Considering the risks associated with the current climate change, should I keep eating farmed meat, or should I turn vegan or vegetarian? Okay. Should I keep driving my combustion engine car or switch to electric? Should I immigrate to Canada or stay in my country? Should I buy a new smartphone or keep or repair my old one? You can choose any personal, local, or global situation or affair and present it as a dilemma. If you are unsure, if your situation presents itself as a dilemma, then run it by me. You can, ask me during our Zoom meetings, or you can send me an email. So again, remember, an ethical dilemma is where you have 2 choices, okay, at least 2 choices. Let's say choice A and choice B, and you don't know exactly which one to choose. But so in order to choose, you can try choosing by applying one of the ethical theories. So in paragraph 2, okay, or in section 2, that is, here you can spend at least 2 paragraphs analyzing your ethical dilemma. So basically analyzing a solution to your ethical dilemma. And in order to solve your ethical dilemma, you can use any of the 3 theories: utilitarianism, deontology, or virtue ethics. And you will study that this week and next week. Okay, all of that information is posted under week 1 and week 2 and under specific modules. And by solve here, it means for you to show how any of the theories, you're just choosing one. You have to decide which one you want to choose. You can also choose randomly, because any of the ethical theories will apply as a solution to any ethical dilemma, but the outcomes might be different. So first you will study the ethical dilemmas, and that will give you a better sense of which one you would like to choose, which one you would like to use, that is, and then you apply it to your ethical dilemma, and when you apply it, that will generate a specific solution to your ethical dilemma. So by solve here, it means show how any of the theories you have chosen solves your dilemma in 2 paragraphs or so. For example, you can start by, this is what you can start by with, that is, when you do your analyses. From a virtue ethics perspective, an action is deemed good if it promotes virtue and vice versa. And then you may go on and explain further as it applies to your dilemma and possible options for a solution. If you're using virtue ethics, make sure to explain what virtue means and how it applies to your dilemma. You can start your analyses in the same manner for any theory you choose. Okay, so you can say according to deontology, according to utilitarianism. Okay, so first you're explaining the theory briefly, and then you're applying the theory to your ethical dilemma. But you will only apply one theory of the 3. Okay, so you're not using utilitarianism, deontology, and virtue ethics. You just choose one, either utilitarianism, deontology, or virtue ethics. And once you analyze your dilemma through, let's say, virtue ethics, deontology, or utilitarianism, then I want you to respond to other posts, the analyses or ethical dilemmas, or the analyses of ethical dilemmas of your classmates. So here in 1 paragraph or so, I want you to respond to at least any two ethical solutions from your classmates. So that's why I set this up as a discussion board, so it can be more interactive. For example, you can say, I think this is the right solution to your ethical dilemma because, and you explain yourself. Or you can say, in addition to your solution, I would add that, and you explain because, and then you explain what you mean by that. Or you can say, I do not think your solution stems from virtue ethics or utilitarianism or deontology because the theories can be misused or misexplained, or they can be analyzed erroneously, and you can point that out. But remember, however, whatever you say, it has to be justified. It has to be explained. You have to give a clear reason and explanation for why you think so. Or you can say, I understand your solution, but your dilemma can also be solved with utilitarianism or virtue ethics or deontology because, and then you explain yourself. So whatever you say and however you argue, you must provide a justification or an explanation for why you think so. Okay, you can't just say, oh, I think this is a very good solution to your dilemma, period. You're not going to earn any marks here. I'm not going to give you any marks for that. Okay, so you have to explain yourself clearly what you mean. Don't assume anything. Don't assume that the reader knows exactly what you're thinking. You have to be explicit. You have to be clear in your explanations. So this needs to be written clearly and convincingly. If not, it will be clear that you do not understand your own position or do not know how to argue for it, either in explaining your own analyses to your own dilemma or to your classmates. Either way, make sure your writing is always clear, accurate, and logical. Okay, make sure you proofread it. So once you do this, so this assignment is out of 25 marks, and it's worth 15% of your final grade. So it's a proper chunk of your final grade. That's basically assignment number 1. So what I suggest is you start thinking about an ethical dilemma. It can be something in line with what I have given you examples, in line with some of the examples that I have given you here, something that's, comes up every day in our lives, or it can be something different. Whatever it is, it has to be set up as an ethical dilemma. Okay, if it's not going to be set up as an ethical dilemma, then you will have a hard time analyzing it with an ethical theory. This is basically the rubric, the explanation for your analyses, okay? So just follow these instructions for now. What do you mean by a rubric exactly, Alan?
It's like how the marking goes for everything and all, like in the high school method.
So here you have, you get 5 points for explaining the ethical dilemma, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You get 10 points for solving the dilemma by applying any of the ethical theories, okay? And you get 5 points per each response to your classmates. So this is a basic breakdown of how the points break down in the assignment.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I will provide you. I think maybe in my previous assignment. Yeah, if there's anything else that I think will be required or of use for writing up this assignment, I will definitely share with you. But I think this should be sufficient for you to do the assignment well. Just make sure you first of all identify an ethical dilemma, whatever it may be. Okay, and if you have any questions, then you can always run it by me or ask me. Okay. All right. So, are there any other questions? No. Okay. So basically, once you're ready, you can start working on the assignment. I'm just going to go back to the discussion board for assignment number 1. Here, the assignment is already open, okay? And it will close on September 30th. So by September 30th, if you want to get either full marks or a good grade on this assignment, then by September 30th, you should be done with all the sections and also at least 2 responses to your classmates. And because on September 30th, the discussion board will close, and you won't have a chance to engage in responses. And if you don't respond, then you will lose 10 points. Okay, so make sure you get on this assignment that is as soon as possible. And once you're ready to post, you post, and then so other people can respond to you. If you don't post, then other people won't be able to respond, and you won't be able to respond to other people. Okay, so just keep this in mind. September 30th is when the discussion board closes, and that's when the assignment will no longer be available to you, and at which point I will start grading it. Okay, so please keep that in mind. September 30th seems like a long time from now, but it's not. It's the days will fly by pretty quickly, especially with all your other assignments from other classes. So start thinking about this and start writing this up in different drafts and proofreading it as soon as you can. But before you do that, make sure you study the modules, especially module number week number 1 and week number 2. And then on a weekly basis, I will also be available through Zoom meetings on Tuesdays like today for any clarifications, any questions, any help you require. Now for the postman presentation and for assignment number 1, you will get into groups. And I think I set up groups here under communications, groups, okay? So assignment number 2, I will create more groups because we have more than 10 students in the class, I will create 5 or 6 different groups with specific topics. So if you want to change the assignment for which you need to register for groups, then sorry, here, not here, but here you change the category. So either assignment number 2 or postman presentation groups. And here you will also, I will also create groups for specific topics, because each group will concentrate on a different technology. For example, gene editing or self-driving cars or the COVID-19 vaccine. I will basically create specific technologies soon, either this week or next week, and you will register for groups. And once you register for groups, you will most likely have 5 members in each group, and you can start emailing and communicating with each other and start putting together your presentation. So that's where you. This is where you will find. This is where you will be able to register for specific groups for specific assignments. Again, remember, either assignment number 2, which is going to be at the end of the semester, or the postman presentation, which will come in the middle of the semester. Something else that I want to tell you for the moment, as a way of introduction to the course. So I think if you have any questions, go ahead. Are there any questions? Okay, so again, the first 2 assignments that you have to worry about for the time is the online quiz, which is based on the first 2 weeks of class, basically studying the first 2 weeks and modules within those weeks, and assignment number 1, which is an ethical dilemma. That should be your preoccupation in this course for the next 4 weeks. And yes, and I will give you further instructions for the new postman presentation, group presentation. Later on, I will post a video with instructions on how to do it and also how to use the steps for group video presentations. But it is your responsibility to also read through these instructions once you get into groups, and I will inform you and email you when you can sign up for those assignments under discussions and under groups. I will email you and tell you, okay, now you can sign up for the new postman presentation topics and or assignment number 2. Okay. And here you have a calendar of important due dates coming up. Here you have also course resources that you can use related to eCentennial and studying in general. Just trying to think if there's anything else I need to say as a way of introduction to the course. I think that's it for the moment. Do you have any questions? No? Okay. Well, if you don't have any other questions, I will end it here. I will post the video of this introduction so you can watch it again, or then other students who are not here can watch it. Make sure again you familiarize yourself with the course, go over all the different modules that you have to study, see how it works, go over the information, read my instructions again, and if you have questions, email me. And I'm sure I will see or hear from some of you next week on Tuesday at the same time. And again, if you have any questions, you can always email me. Yes, I will be posting the videos under news and attaching them also to assignments. So I will send you an email and a news item with a link to, let's say, YouTube or other formats. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, Josefa, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so we have Trevor, Alan, Guillermo, Nathaniel. Who else is here? Josefa. Okay, nice to meet you, and I'll talk to you soon, or I'll see you soon online. And again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. Just make sure you tell me your name and last name, which course you are in, and clearly your question or your comment. All right, so all the best on your semester. I hope this will be successful for you and the whole semester, and including this course. And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, take care.